This week, Perth Hotels prepares to accommodate MH370 victim families.
Woolf joins the WA Senate by-election race.
The Constable Care Child Safety Foundation is celebrating its 25th birthday.
And sports broadcaster in Chile mentor journalism students.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. Perth's hotel industry is bracing for a sharp increase in business after the Malaysian authorities stated that they believe the missing flight MH370 crashed into the Southern Indian Ocean. Zalif Alibhai reports.
Hundreds of the victims' families are expected to gather in Perth if the plane wreckage is found in the next few days. Premier Colin Barnett said the state government will do all it can to help the families.
We do expect several hundred family members will come here. As a state government, we will assist the Commonwealth and do all that we can to make them feel welcome, to be respectful of the very sad loss of their family members.
Sammy Yap, president of the historic local Chinese club Chung Hua Association, said he is also willing to provide assistance. Meanwhile, Malaysian Airlines replied to our email inquiry stating that no family members will be sent to Perth until the plane's wreckage is found. Zalif Alibhai, WAM News.
Anti-shark cull activists and politicians participated in the human shark activity where they lay on the beach forming the shape of a shark. Approximately 100 advocates took part in the movement in Fremantle.
It's a protest that might get your attention. Anti-shark cull advocates and politicians formed a human shark at Leighton Beach last Sunday. A GoPro drone was sent above Leighton Beaches as a bird's-eye view of the peaceful protest. Not only were the protesters a mixture of age, there was also Greens politicians coming down to become a part of the human shark.
The Greens here, so Senator Seward, Senator Milne, Senator Ludlam, and also Lynn McLaren was here as well, yes.
A man who participated in this event, Simon Blaise, said that the idea came from a friend who saw a particular protest in Japan similar to this over the Daiji dolphin killings.
Right, so there's school teachers involved in that, parents involved in that, and also obviously school kids from all over the world have been participating in that.
People are speculating that although the drum lines are planned to be removed on the 30th of April, that they may be placed back in the water next summer. The protesters have expressed their anger about the drum lines only catching tiger sharks, as when their original plan was to catch great whites.
Some sharks we do lose on a drum line, but there hasn't been many. And I think of the 110 odd sharks we've caught, 33 of those have been over 3 metres and of course destroyed. But some 65 have been released back alive.
Besides the time-consuming aspect of the process, the people involved are willing to attend more protests just like the human shark success. Jamiee Martin, WAMN News.
Former ABC radio broadcaster Russell Woolf joined the WA Senate by-election race. Mr Woolf teamed up with his former colleague Verity James and formed the Save the ABC party. In my feature interview this week, Russell explained why he decided to take part in federal politics. Russell Woolf, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you, Ivan.
You're a successful broadcaster. Why join politics?
A very good question, and I probably am guilty of, whilst I was broadcasting, saying I would probably never, or in fact never, take on a role as a politician. And that was mostly due to the fact that I was interviewing so many of them. After I decided to leave the ABC last year, I'd been there for 17 years, and I was really just looking for taking a break more, as much as anything. And reassess where I was and consider what my next move would be. And I strongly thought, and if this doesn't work out, that I would go back into radio because it's something that I'm so passionate about.
How important is public broadcasting in Australia?
Well, it's critical, I think, Ivan. I think it's essential.
Is there a risk?
Well, it is. I mean, at the moment it's at risk, and to be honest as well, it's not just about this government and the things that have been coming from it. The rhetoric from this government has been quite strong of late in the last few months, but under ALP leadership as well, the ABC has at times been threatened.
Is it true that you're trying to make the public more aware about the problems at the ABC and the threats towards the ABC by joining the Senate race, and knowing that it's going to be very hard for you to win?
Very difficult for me to win, and so raising the profile of the issues that I see that are confronting the ABC is high on the agenda, and I think that will all help.
So you have no political preferences at all?
No. I mean, the one thing that you do at the ABC is that you have to be very careful about being seen to be even-handed in the way that you approach interviews when they're political in nature.
What would you do if you win?
I'd be over the moon, Ivan. I mean, I'd be really excited. I'd be on a very steep learning curve, which doesn't frighten me at all.
Now, when it comes to the campaign on the election, it's not going to be cheap. So have you received any donations so far?
Well, we've had a couple of people that have been kind enough to help us out with some donations, and we've got a website, saveourabc.com.au, which, because we're hoping to turn that into a party. We've got already more than 500 names on that. I don't know if we have to get out and kiss babies, Ivan, but if you lean forward, I'll give you a little peck on the forehead. But we'll do as much as we can on a tight budget. I'm going to jump on my Vespa on election day and try and get around to as many booths as I can, and we'll see how we go.
Russell Woolf, all the best and good luck.
Ivan, it's been a real pleasure to have a chat with you. Thanks for spending the time.
The state government announced that the Ritz Carlton will be building a luxury hotel in Elizabeth Quay. The Premier said the hotel can bring around 1,000 jobs to the area and boost the local tourism industry.
International hotel group Ritz Carlton will build a 5-star luxury hotel in Elizabeth Quay. The hotel will provide 204 rooms, while the apartment towers will provide 420 units. Far East Consortium was selected by the state government to develop and construct the hotel and 2 apartment towers. The Premier Colin Barnett and Planning Minister John Day visited the construction site and met with the Chairman of Far East Consortium, David Chu, and Executive Director Craig Williams.
I'm delighted to announce today that through the Metropolitan Redevelopment Authority, a preferred developer has now been appointed to construct a hotel and 2 apartment towers.
We are excited to begin our journey in Perth. And Mr. Premier, we give you our combined, together we have a combined balance sheet of $6 billion behind us, and also with many talented and experienced developers. That, let me assure you, Premier, we won't let you down.
We want to be an absolutely iconic hotel for Western Australia, and really a key part for tourism in this part of the world.
Meanwhile, the child signature pathway surrounding the bell tower will be removed to make way for the Elizabeth Quay construction. Lindsay Wetton, who signed her name on the pathway, expressed her disappointment.
The students of 1999 wrote their names on a piece of paper to be sent off to be made into these tiles. We did this with the understanding that these tiles would be preserved for generations to come, and that's clearly not happening, and it's really disappointing.
Opposition leader Mark McGowan said the government's decision is appalling.
What Mr Barnett is doing here is just plain wrong. It's rotten, mean, unkind and tricky to rip up the signatures of West Australian school children.
Joseph Barker, WAMN News.
Western Australia's unique charity, the Constable Care Child Safety Foundation, is celebrating a significant milestone, its 25th birthday. This week, Howard Sattler caught up with the foundation's chief executive, David Gribble, who revealed several exciting expansion plans for the organisation.
I'm with David Gribble, he's the chief executive of the Constable Care Child Safety Foundation. David, what's tonight all about?
Howard, tonight is our showcase event celebrating 25 years of Constable Care and an opportunity to show our stakeholders the upcoming performances we have for the school year in 2014.
And I understand that Constable Care has changed a bit over the 25 years. Tell us about that.
Well, look, it's a very different organisation to the one that started in 1989. We have a range of community-based services now that are more than just work in schools. Schools is still our primary vehicle where we get across crime prevention and child safety and citizenship messages. But on top of that, we're now doing some really interesting things around lost children, around children in crisis, and around road safety as well.
And of course you're branching into high schools now. Tell me about that.
Indeed. We've launched a new brand, TRG Theatrical Response Group, which is our brand for secondary students, and really they're working with a theatre style called Forum Theatre, where the kids are no longer just passive observers of what's going on stage, but they're active participants in that process as well.
What's the main message that Constable Care imparts to children?
Well, look, our message for kids, Howard, is really to empower children to make good decisions. So it's about being able to weigh up when a situation requires a decision and make the right one rather than the wrong one more often.
David, you have a wonderful group of performers. Where they come from?
They're drawn from most of the major universities and the acting schools, so they're a very talented bunch of young ladies and gentlemen.
I understand that Rove McManus started his acting career here.
Right back at the beginning of the organisation, Rove McManus was indeed a Constable Care performer, and look where he's got to now.
And you've got an announcement to make too tonight that you've got a road traffic store about to be launched.
We have indeed. We're very thrilled to be able to say that we now have 2 corporate partners who are contributing $500,000 between them to the development of an experiential road safety learning centre for younger children. Pretty amazing. It's an expensive project. It's a $2 million exercise to build. It will be world class, and we're a little way off from the opening stage, but we are confident now that we're able to deliver on it given our sponsorship.
Look forward to that day. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Howard.
Time for some world news. We all know that it's tough to be a journalist, but life might be a bit easier if mentors in the industry share their knowledge with newcomers. A group of famous sports journalism broadcasters in Chile are doing just that by starting a course for journalism students. Chile correspondent Ramir Perez was there.
The course provides knowledge of several famous sport commentators and also professional referees. Claudio Palma, Pro Goals teacher, is also a sport commentator for a national television station in Chile.
Porque hicimos una invitación solo por redes sociales a 12 alumnos, cupo limitado, y se nos agotó en las primeras 3-4 semanas. Así que estamos muy contentos y seguramente van a venir más novedades para el segundo curso que será después del Mundial.
Loreto Araya tells that this course will give you the necessary tools to do a sports story on television or radio.
Hoy día dimos inicio al curso y hicimos una pequeña nota en el diario. Teníamos 12 cupos y se inscribieron 12 personas de inmediato.
Ciertos aspectos que hay que conocer, hay ciertos aspectos que hay que pulir, que hay que desarrollar, y lo reforzamos con las materias que indica Claudio: arbitraje, historia del fútbol, táctica y estrategia, y educación de la voz como el gran piso sobre el cual se construye el...
Vamos a tratar de hacer una clase dinámica, una clase entretenida, una clase en que participativa, en que todos puedan opinar y sacar las mejores conclusiones de me imagino toda la experiencia que tiene cada uno de los alumnos.
The fact is that our Chilean friends will see and hear their stories and opinions when the Australian soccer teams face Chile in this World Cup. For WIMN News, Brian Ramirez, Marcelo Muñoz, Santiago, Chile.
That's all we have for you this week. Thanks for watching.
For the latest news, please hop onto our website, Facebook and Twitter.
Good night.
Good night.